Tole sta paketa, ki sta prišla danes.
Tako je.
In danes je april 16.
Najbrž.
No, tako. To je zelo pomembno za mene. Ni treba nič tako se vesti, zaradi tega, ker sem te samo vprašal lepo, če lahko samo počakaš, da to dokumentiram. To je vse, kar je. Nobene druge stvari. Nobenega datuma ne vidim, nič ne vidim. I'm not really sure why here is the stamp from Estonia. I'm not really sure about this. And well, the other one is from China, but I'm not sure about basically why this here would be from Estonia. I see here Estonia priority, and it's popped on the top of it, whatever that is, written that is underneath. I have no clue what this is, but this is just totally fascinating. You would not even know. You can see the packages from China and the stuff like this. I believe this is probably the detector that arrived finally, but I would say that this thing here is from somebody else that have just popped this thing onto it. How could this go from Amsterdam to Estonia and then from Estonia to Slovenia? And he did travel no less than 17 days. If this is what it is, that will be beyond any understanding, really, rationality. The police has got to open this package and ensure that this actually is in a decent physical shape. We're going to do it this way. There is no other way. Just want to document this here. And it's basically, this is a temperature here in Novo Mesto, is what it is. It's 14 degrees Celsius. And this one here is indicating me like 20 degrees Celsius. But it used to be much worse. It was a time when this thing indicated like 30 degrees Celsius and outside was like 13 degrees Celsius. As you see, it's I am outside right now, so we are outside right now, outside of my room, and so this thing is not accurate at all. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, this thing here. Let's see about this thing here. This basically is what radiation is, at least. Okay, I am just glad I have not posted anything the other day. But yeah, this, you can see exactly what the situation is. It's actually 25.6 degrees Celsius with the window open. It's like 20 minutes to midnight. I did not post that the other day, and I'm glad I had not. It seems to have like something like an automated system that starts itself at about 2300 hours. I got to see the video the other day what happened, because it's almost identical temperature, it's basically almost identical time, and again the ringing in my ears started, meaning that this actually probably, I would say, actually this probably is microwaving. I have no idea what is it that hits the place. The temperature here, like early in the morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, is about 22 degrees Celsius. As a matter of fact, like I would say about just when it was hot, when supposedly was a hot outside, it was about 22, 23 degrees Celsius. I tell you what we're gonna do is let's get in here and let's look what this is actually the most perfect thing you possibly can have. It's right here. 14 degrees Celsius in Novo Mesto in this room, however, is 26 something. So I think this explains very well. Temperature went up today up to, sorry, I was very wrong when I said that. Temperature went up to like 23 degrees Celsius. And basically right now, then it went down to something like this, and then right now you can see the time, what time it is. It's 23, and you can see it right there. It's time. There you go. Here's the time, everything. So no, this definitely is a microwaving. I think it's a microwaving noise in my ears. I believe neighbor it is. I'm pretty damn sure. Look at that. Absolutely, there's no doubt that directed energy were used with extreme on me here. Not if they were used, but they were used with extreme prejudice on me. Let's just put it this way. I do not know how much this thing is, how precise this thing is, how much I can really count on this, what this can really do for me. However, I have to say this way. I moved downstairs because the neighbors have used several times. 2 times they have left me with about 2.5 hours of not what was sleep, but rather beating. Because after those sessions with a microwave or whatever they have used, the only thing that I can say is that I was bitten up like it's like several guys would beat you up like severely, like, or let's say you would go and do some boxing or something like this, and you would go into I don't know how many rounds, and the next day, yeah, you would be all beaten up. I did that when I was younger. I did some boxing, but on top of this thing would leave you like disoriented. I mean, it would take you about like 10-12 hours for you to get the will back to go on. You would not even have any will to go about your stuff, basically. This is what I have experienced. This is how severe that stuff was. And so no wonder when I moved downstairs, I was agitated. And I promised to myself that if I would get the neighbor inside in here, I would break his ribs, every rib he have. I really was more than willing to do this. Well, as I moved downstairs, I think it was about 2nd or 3rd night that I was downstairs, I positioned 2 cameras like this that would face a valley, a channel behind the house. And it was the neighbor, police officer Metot Yerman, individual involved in these abductions, involved in this MK Ultra heavily, transferred from Ljubljana to Novo Mesto, because this case is handled through the Novo Mesto. I don't know how much Ljubljana knows about. I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's all well coordinated. But this guy was particularly my neighbor here. This is just another neighbor, transferred from Ljubljana to Novo Mesto for this case, according to the neighbor here, whose name is Hench. And this is basically father-in-law from Daneko Lenz. And so exactly what the 2 had promised me would do, that was Metot Yerman, police officer, and Daneko Lenz, they would give me the chance for me to actually film them.
it was not really the chance to film them. It was the idea to get me out of the room, you know, agitate me, get me and get me in a mode that you know, I would rather act on impulse than basically really use brain. And when you go through the stuff like this for a very long time, it becomes a little bit difficult to do the right thing. Obviously, the right thing would be to take a camera and video record, monitor when a smoke bomb, like a firework that produces smoke, was thrown in a valley behind the house. As smoke would progress, that's interesting how precalculated it was. It was blowing, let's say toward right, as smoke would progress through the alley. And I absolutely have no doubt it's also as they have promised me they would do. They would have everything I would do, everything I would see on a surveillance system, they also would see. So there is absolutely no risk when they even expose themselves to that stuff. So what they would do is they would throw a smoke bomb, smoke would go down the alley, and the camera would, from far from the distance, you could see individual coming in the valley toward the camera. On what individual stopped. Now, I grew up in this house, and I was pretty damn sure that if I do give a decent run for this individual, I actually will intercept him in that valley behind the house. I was pretty damn sure I got him. 100% the door from the house, main door, the front door, there was key inside. However, when I ran through the door to that, toward that door to exit the house, there was no key inside, and the door was locked. That gave this neighbor, Donnie Collins, some extra time to disappear, and by the time I got out to the garage, he was all gone. It really worked, because just about a month ago here, as a matter of fact, after I got this thing, I don't know, I posted it on the news site. I didn't want to open the package. I didn't want to open the package at all. I just wanted to keep this till I would go to the police and open this with other packages. I said to myself, it doesn't matter to me, even if they microwave me, whatever they do here, I'm going to hold that long till I get actually to the police department and have them open this thing. Well, not so. One evening, and I did posted this on the news site, these people have used exactly that same principle. And the principle was such that basically they have forced me, whether I would want to open this or would not open this, situation started to become unbearable, totally unbearable. My nuts, my balls already hurt for about 2 days at that point, at that time. Not much, but like little. You could feel that it's like, it was like stiff, strange feeling. And in that evening, you could feel this microwaving, whatever it was. It was becoming totally unbearable, to the point that I would eventually experience pain. You could really feel pain. How about this? And you know what? I did open this thing. I pulled this thing out, and guess what happened? Right here, if I show you this thing here, where I had this system, and it was in the garage where a car is from my father. Now, it would be somebody was moving like this, like a little rope, right here in front of the camera. And it was like a signal for me to go downstairs. Either you're going to come downstairs or we're going to do obviously more to you. And it worked, folks. And I'm not supposed to get out of that room because I was afraid. I was just kind of doing had an idea how I'm going to go after these micro cameras wherever. And I was still on Kiacha that exactly like this, with the use of violence, eventually they will get me out of the room, go inside and pull whatever they have and go. And guess what happens when you are like this? You do jump and you actually go for it. Well, the temperature read 29 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately for me, because I have just opened that thing, I did not even know how to use this thing. I didn't know what it means. I had absolutely no clue. As I was looking at this thing, 29 degrees Celsius, I didn't know what's right, what's wrong, what it is, what should I expect, what should I record, should I not. I didn't have a clue. And so I did not record 29 degrees Celsius. That was something that was used actually to hype me, as within few next minutes the temperature would drop down to like, I think it was like 24 or something like that. So that's like a 5 degree of a difference. Now that's a lot of difference, and that's definitely would be considered, even as I was told under MKUltra, that would be considered as a proof. But if it's like a degree or 2 degrees, I remember what I was told, that however would not be considered as a proof. Okay, so that would not be considered as a proof. So what can I actually make conclusion about that stuff? The only thing I can say is that on that camera, I did actually that time manage to record, the video records how, you know, when somebody goes into the area, into the certain area, it's like trash, the dust that goes up. And there was like a big, big ass cotton, whatever, was flying because somebody was in there. I did record that stuff, but I don't think I did record 29 degrees Celsius. I did not record that. By the way, temperature just 40 minutes ago, temperature was so you're not gonna make confusion. There is something going on right now. Temperature was 24.5, and I actually have video recorded. Today is May the 10th of 2018, and it's now almost somewhere toward 9 o'clock. And about hour ago, at least hour ago, temperature was 24.5, meaning that it's getting cooler outside and the temperature here is rising. Why is it getting hotter in here if it's cooling outside? If it's getting cooler and cooler outside, that's not. So this temperature here, I don't actually believe this is okay. I think that something is fishy about this one here. Okay, now it's already going towards 28. So what's really happening? I do have actually a video I recorded. I did all the stuff I'm talking about. Why the temperature is going from 24 and it went from 24.5 to now what is already 28 and 28.5. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Something here is going on. I don't know how much this thing is exact, but I can say that something it's not quite the way it should be. Still don't know much about this. Still have to go over some YouTube videos to get an idea what can detect, what can temperature detect and stuff like that. But it's pretty much all I had to say about this. About that incident, I'm just gonna have to reserve videos separated to that and dedicated as attack. The point here is that psychiatrists were the one who have designed this type of scenario. You get this? The first time they got me excited with a guy. They got me out. The second time, this is basically the same thing they do. They get you excited. Temperature goes like this, to 29 degrees Celsius, from 24 to 29 like this, 5 degrees like this. And then it falls down to like 25, meaning that it's like you don't actually get this. You start to understand what happened after you start to observe this thing. And like I said, you need some time to observe, to understand how this thing works. Okay? And so it takes a little time, and once you realize what's going on, you get excited. You go and you write down what's happened, and you may actually record something very, very, very inappropriate and post that on the internet, and the next thing you see, they take very good advantage of it. Okay, so in respect to this temperature and stuff like this, I really can't say anything. The only thing I can say is that Geiger for smartphone for the Android, as you know, that one was stolen as soon as I came up here. I had this here for about 2-3 days, was with me here, and exactly as I was told on it will be taken away from you. That's it. That's it. So basically I'm like this. Do with me whatever you want to do.
Today I'm going to show how dangerous UHF microwaves are. The power of UHF microwaves really impresses me. Just try to imagine, one microwave oven can produce as much radiation as 10,000 Wi-Fi routers, 5,000 cell phones, or 30 cell phone towers can do. In order to prevent this power from breaking out of microwave ovens, there are metal double protection shields in microwaves. I want to warn you that UHF radiation can harm your health. Microwave ovens' high voltage can be deadly, but it won't stop me. Happy, because its radiation spreads far and wide, affecting everything in its way. Not thinking much, I made a homemade can antenna. Oh, let's see what will happen. It's buzzing.
What I would add to all this stuff is just that during MK Ultra in 2005, they have subjected me to the heavy microwaving, and they have subjected me also to other treatments. They did talk about the X-ray and ultrasound. In 2005, when they had taken me for a walk in a place here, Otočec, they have suggested me a local physician whose name I'm not going to mention, just basically to protect him. They have suggested me that the physician was asking, they were suggesting, they said this people are playing extremely dirty. They are going to kill you and this and that. And I said, who? I keep laughing at them because I ignored all the stuff, all this garbage these people have suggested. And they will know exactly about how much dosage and this and that, and they're going to do the stuff like this to you. And I was like, nah, they can't do anything like this. And they say, really? They say, do you hear right now? Do you hear the sound in your ears? Did you forget all about what we have gone through? Do you hear the sound in your ears? And I was like, yeah, because it was sound in my ears. And said, well, exactly, because we measured all the levels of radiation on you, so we know exactly what dosage will accomplish exactly what. So this thing was done thoroughly by Slovenian government here on Slovenia on behalf of Belgrade and Moscow. Make no mistake about that. Second part, stalking is real. On Monday, I'm going to stop by anyways. I don't really care about this local police station. This local police station is everything but police station. But I will submit this report, and then what I will do is I will follow up with this report to the department where I will complain anyways about the whole matter, and that's going to be against anti-corruption department, against people employed by the government, let's say. in Ljubljana in respect to the incident which occurred about a week ago when I went for a walk, and just like always was again stalked, and this time supposedly I was stalked by Irani individual who also had wife with him. His wife, I understand, is Moroccan, and just like they have orchestrated me under MK Ultra that if I am gonna lobby for the Israel, that they will abduct me and I don't know what. But then these things went further, and then I was suggested, now we got you to the Israel and now you are safe and this and that, all kinds of crap like this, basically, so just to get me away from writing the stuff they have built in me, the stuff that they wanted me basically to write. They wanted to use me and then basically have me disappeared. Basically have a life of Guantanamo, compel me to write, promise me they're going to pay me I don't know how much money, there's going to be I don't know what, this and that, and in the end what they do is they make you disappear. Basically, this is the short explanation of everything I can say I have gone through pretty much. Just like in the city, it doesn't matter if I go through the forest, it doesn't matter if I walk 4, 5, 8 hours in the forests, wherever I'm going to come out, or even in the middle of the forest, you're going to have a weirdos that had something to do with MK Ultra meeting me. And it was no different situation this time. I do have to say that Borut Pahor was involved with Iranis. Iranis were involved in this MK Ultra. They also had people from Pakistan. They also had people, something from Turkey, but that's normal because they had people from all over the place. They had people from Germany and everywhere else. What matters here is that Borut Pahor have, on behalf of Belgrade and Moscow, washed $1 billion through the local bank here for Iranis. That's actually something what really matters, that these people are deeply involved with Iranis. There is a corruption here, Belgrade, Moscow corruption here, and they would love nothing more to make me disappear. Oh, probably Israel would not mind to cash some money with me too. I mean, getting me off the stage would probably contribute something to their economy. Maybe they would get some favors and stuff like this, but this is not in my interest. So that's why I'm going to stop by. If you remember, it used to be about the Israelis stalking me around, and it's now about the Iranis stalking me around. Okay, so it's pretty much obvious that who is doing all this shit, who is doing this all this paranoia, it's pretty obvious. Make no mistake, I remember the cars, I remember the individuals, I remember, thanks God, I remember under MK Ultra, even the words of the police officer who was involved in MK Ultra and have told me who involved people are gonna be, where they live, and this and that, absolutely everything. And my memory being good as it is good, I can tell you Black Mercedes is right here. It's called a Ratish individual. I don't know if he's Irani or not, it doesn't matter. And then it's an Opel, I think it's Opel Astra or whatever it is. It's right here from very nearby here. I don't know how you say that, but it's toward Šinternē in that area, Škocjan area to be exact. Okay, so make no mistake, these people aren't going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere either. The only thing that's going to happen is, I don't know how they do it, whether they're using laptops, whether they're using my Android, I don't know, maybe I have a GPS somewhere that I don't know, implanted inside, who knows what they have done. The only thing I know is they can trace me everywhere. And if I would not know, if MK Ultra will not take place, the people that I'm talking about, I would not be capable to give you such a detailed information, would I? I wouldn't be able to say this guy's from there, that guy and that girl, they are from there, and so on and so forth, because they suggested me other locations. But thanks to MK Ultra, I remember who these people actually are. How about this? If anybody had doubts about that. So this is going to be done on Monday. maybe actually to both departments, to local here and in Ljubljana. That's one thing. Okay, so this kind of stuff is real, folks. This stuff is not okay, because the high blood pressure like this, do you know where that leads? It leads to a heart surgery, open heart surgery, which I would not want to have. My health, as estimated in 2005, was immaculate. I've never ever in my life suffered any kind of high pressure issues or anything like this. Had the same weight as I have now. The truth is that what they had done to slow me down with burning off my feet so I could not even go and walk and stuff like this did contribute to my weight. However, the microwaving, that kind of stuff, now that kind of stuff actually really suffocated me. First time for the last 2 days, my head is actually stopped from shh. Okay, first time last 2 days. And I did not go for a walk. I got even a little bit more chubby, because what I plan on doing is basically finish this thing and then go and do the stuff that I always have done it. No matter what, this is not good. This has been going on for, I don't know, 8 months or something like this. This stuff is criminal as it gets, and make no mistake, there are going to be a very severe repercussions. I am not running anywhere. I am going to stand up for everything I am, for everything I have, and for everything that was stolen from me. Once again, will not back down a single millimeter. I don't even know what it means to back down, because there's no such thing in my vocabulary. Just 2 days ago, I have received, in almost same fashion as what you see here, a mouse, a wireless mouse, and you're going to see that one actually traveled 37 days from Germany to Slovenia. That's yet another record, and it was open. Okay, also interesting was my mom, who tried to intimidate me, tried to block me, stop me from claiming about how my things are disappearing. That's when I moved up here, and things started to disappear around here from, you know, quite a few items. Keys and EMF detector for the Android, basically Geiger, small one, disappeared, gone. And so that stuff was interesting. Still gone, missing, gone, bye-bye. Just as promised. That was interesting. And so she came up with an idea, came here to ask me maybe 5 times if I am sure that the curtains from the living room, I'm not keeping them inside in here. Now, who the hell would keep curtains from the living room inside of his, why would I want to do this for? So the idea was basically to intimidate me. Well, after like few hours, Mama did start to hang curtains over there in the living room, and as I by coincidence came by, I did learn that after asking her that she did find her curtains. Okay, so I didn't have to worry about that kind of issue being intimidated with.
Kaj se najdla zavese, mami? Kje so pa bile zavese? A dol v sobi so bile? Pol ti jih nisem jaz vzel?
Ne vem, mogoče pa si dol.
Nič ni, a tepe tu pa zdaj hecno je?
Ja. Če se ponujaš, bom pač tako rekla, kaj pa če bom
rekla? Aha, no, važno, da se ti najdla zavesice. Ne, ker smešna stvar tule ni, mislim, glede na to, da mislim, se dogajajo take drugačne stvari. No, prav. Kaj, tu so paketi, ki so prišli danes? Ta 2 paketa.
Jaz sem jih dati še vzeli.
Dobro, hvala. Date, time. Oh, today is Wednesday, May 9, 2018. Okay, May 9, 2018. Basically, let's see what we have here. Yeah, this is gonna be just okay. Let's see this first here. What we have. This is what it looks like. I can't tell anything, but yeah, it does not really appears like, I don't know how solid this thing that would be sealed. Let me see this. Strange stuff. Might not be, might be okay, who knows. We got two articles for two. Let's see what we have. We're gonna open one right here in the back. Like this. This here, this is a mouse. Should have been here already almost like a month ago, because this was ordered even from Europe, from Spain. And it appears that one have traveled, well, for I don't know how long. To me, this thing, okay. So what we want to do is we want to do a very, very close inspection. I did mistakes like this before. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure that this time I do it the right way. So pretty much that you can see. And then compare this thing to whatever it is that is advertised on the internet. To tell you the truth, not even this thing appears to be new. This has been open already. This is open. This thing was open. You can see it here. This thing was open. This thing absolutely was open. This is not new thing. This thing was open. You can see here that this thing already was open from this side. And I have to make a detailed inspection of what this thing is, really, but you can see clearly this thing was definitely open here from this side. So more garbage. This thing should have been here already, I think, like a month ago. It looks like there was a sticker here. You can see it. The sticker was also removed. It's totally questionable if this belongs to this thing at all, and so on and so forth. This should have been sent by the FedEx, by the way, from Spain. And so we want to really see and make sure that the package, it might have been the case that this definitely is not FedEx. I mean, we know the FedEx, how that looks like. That's what it's advertised as a. Okay, let's just magnify this thing, shall we, a little bit closer. Look at what this is here, this, and determine exactly what's going on here. Okay, it's totally evident that there is some damage here. See, this is normal. This is what normal looks like. And then we get here. And it's quite evident that somebody here was doing some kind of job again. Again, some kind of shady stuff. And then it goes across and again continue as normal surface, as you see. What was done here on this thing here, that's totally a question. But physical damage to this item is visible even. Was it as they have promised me they would do, that they're going to install inside? I don't know. USB radio transmitters, I don't know what they promised me, all kinds of
You see, the damage is totally visible when you look at that from a little closer, and you can see that something was going on here. And this is just yet another item here. And ladies and gentlemen, a poison for political schizophrenics like Vladimir Putin is, or Aleksandar Vucic, or Borut Pahor. People who believe that we have no right to express our opinion. People who believe we don't have the right to have our own views. People who believe that with the terror, with the acts of the terrorism, can deprive us of those. This is, ladies and gentlemen, all times Jewish flag indeed, which is now proudly hanging in this room next to all other flags, next to the Russian, next to the Belarus, Polish, even American. I don't give a damn about Kremlin terrorism. Gentlemen, this is May 10th of 2018. It is here. Item about which we have seen, I'm talking about, is this mini USB wireless 2.4G mouse, ultra whatever mouse. It was purchased on March the 22nd of 2018. Calculating the date, time to very today, it will be 50 days, but because I got one yesterday, 49 days. How about that? On April the 4th of 2018, I have contacted these people and requested about the tracking number and so on and so forth, and they were kind enough to provide me with one. This is the number they have provided me with, and this is a very good Chinese company. Whoops, delivery company. This is the very good Chinese delivery company, just as good as Deutsche Post, as German Post. Here is the number. And if I go and I track this thing here, and then in that case it becomes evident the situation is almost identical to what else than radiation frequency detector. Again, paid in for on the 22nd, delivered to the airline at the end of the month, in this case on the 30th, destination Europe, Germany, airplane takes off, within 24 hours gets into Germany, item is cleared within at least, if not the same day, within following 24 hours. And now, according to my neighbor scenario, Danica Lenz, my neighbor, item travels from Germany to Slovenia 1 month and 7 days, and it comes even damaged at the end. Okay, so pretty much identical situation to the other item. You got to agree with me, this is not normal. Radiation detector traveled instead to Slovenia from Holland. It went to the other side of the Europe, to the Estonia, and this one here traveled from Germany to Slovenia, I don't know, 1 month and 7 days. The other one 17 days. This one here 1 month and 7 days. From Germany to Slovenia, items would come like this when they're already in transit. I believe within like 48 hours. 48 hours, 2 days, 2-3 days item would be here. Holland, I don't know, maybe a week. From Britain is a week, maybe 5, 6, 7 working days is what it is. Okay, so what is this now about? 1 month and 7 days. You gotta ask my neighbor about this stuff. On the MKUltra, these people have suggested me, they insisted. You see, and this actually confirms my statements in respect to the mouse and all those concerns about Bluetooth and all that garbage. They insisted on how my mouse is and the computer and everything is going to be implanted with Bluetooth, radio transmitter, with all that kind of garbage. if not real, you gotta give me a credit now and admit that this is a serious attempt to make individual paranoid, because this item actually was even open. Am I correct? Yes. Mr. Boyan Zala from Psychiatric Clinic, it's called clinic, in reality is a most severe torture hospital in Slovenia. It's called Ljubljana Polje, and it's known for brutality since ancient times. There were people brutalized, their brains were burned in that hospital. Ljubljana Polje is the name, Ljubljana Polje, and he's a director at this hospital who was involved and have claimed how I am violent in his reports, and had me subject to other psychiatrists to obtain their opinion about me. Luckily for me, none of the psychiatrists sided with this lunatic. Otherwise, I would not be even released back to the home environment, because the maniac, Chetnik, Serbo-Chetnik, Aleksandar Vucic, Borut Pahor, Kremlin, Putanowich, claimed on how I am dangerous. I'm dangerous to myself, how I am suicidal, how I am dangerous to myself and to environment, to the neighbors, to my parents, and to everybody. And have used, according to MK Ultra, because make no mistake, this was a well-designed plan. What he have written on the paper against me was written in 2014, 2015. What followed in 2017, however, is what he would use to prove that something is wrong with me. And they have brainwashed under MK Ultra also in respect to computer, in respect to mouses, how there are Bluetooth radio transmitters inside here. This is gonna transmit your information, what you do on the computer, I don't know, 150 meters far, and they're gonna read everywhere you're gonna go. Well, one thing I'm gonna tell you that as far as the stalking wise, it works. I'm gonna tell you that there's 100% no mistake that if you walk hours in the forest and you step out and they start to play the MK Ultra scenario, that people like this, all of a sudden you write about Iranis and all of a sudden Iranis come to meet you that were involved in MK Ultra and stuff like this. That shit is real, right? So I mean, you got to agree with me, that kind of stuff is real. So more than protection from the police, more the concerns from the Slovenian police, is basically what I need them to remove their gadgets, their police garbage they have implanted inside of my devices. And that includes micro cameras, which 100% are in this house and in this very room. If there are not micro cameras, then in that case, definitely are some kind of gadgets, like listening gadgets, like kind of spy, kind of audio type of surveillance that goes on. Something is going on here. But I do believe there are micro cameras, because they did talk, they dreamed about the micro cameras like crazy about that stuff. Okay, so now even if there is nothing in here inside, right, we can confirm that this is an attempt to drive somebody crazy, right? When the new merchandise that you order from the from the internet, from the eBay, comes wrapped, open and cracked and stuff like this happens, that actually this confirms my theory about the MK Ultra. So these things are real. The item absolutely, the item was paid for as new, not opened, but again as new. I always ensure that anything I purchase on eBay is purchased through new. I do not buy, absolutely do not buy any used. Okay, so new, always is new. And I am not going to be taking some kind of garbage, broken garbage, destroyed, and I do have the right to purchase from the internet like other people have the right to. I am not paying to have items broken, modified, not delivered, stolen, and stuff like this. This is not what I'm paying the state of Slovenia for. And breaking individuals' items which he purchases from the internet and using microwaves, directed energy weapons on this individual to somehow prove that something is wrong with this individual who is violent in this case. Individual against whom this stuff is done, or psychiatric hospital in Ljubljana, actually Moscow, Belgrade and Ljubljana. Who is violent now? State of Slovenia obviously is nothing more. Look, it's in no one's interest to do stuff like this other than Belgrade and Kremlin. And that pretty much is what Ljubljana is. Ljubljana, Slovenia, is nothing more than a puppet from Moscow, from Kremlin and from Belgrade. See this thing in front of you? You see this thing here? This is what local bank here in Slovenia was accused of. $1 billion or euros and probably much more than that. They washed under the table like criminals do. They washed this money for Iran. For Iran to avoid sanctions and all kinds of stuff like this. Do you know how this deal came in place, how this was assembled? Basically, I'm going to tell you how. In 2001, 2002, Iranis who were also invited, because this whore of Borut Pahor, you see, he used me. Actually, I was a whore and he was my pimp. Because there was no government in the world that Moscow, Belgrade, Ljubljana would not sell me. Whoever would pay, whatever they would pay, they were able and capable to do with me as pleased. They were able to beat me up, they were able to torture me. Anything you would pay to Ljubljana, Belgrade and Moscow, you would be basically allowed to perform on me, thanks to my pimp, Borut Pahor, Slovenian president now. So he brought these criminals here from Iran, he brought them in here, and in 2009 the deal went through. It actually came out, let me see this thing here, sometimes I think in 2017 was it, that in 2009, 2010, this is what Borut Pahor and his whatever party that is have washed the money for, you know, this radical regime over there. It's called terrorism. It's called financial terrorism. And believe me, when you think, whenever you mention, whenever you hear the word Moscow, Belgrade, Ljubljana, just think about the word terrorism, like a terrorist, like Al-Qaeda terrorist, because this is not only about financial terrorism. This foremost is about the terror and terrorism against own people, more than anybody else. Putin, Aleksandar Vucic, that's a Serbian president, serves on behalf of Vojislav Šešelj and Borut Pahor. Just think about when you hear Moscow, Belgrade, Ljubljana, terrorist, terrorism. If anybody knows anything about these terrorists, because they are terrorists and nothing else than violent thugs is what they are. Al-Qaeda terrorists is what they are. I do know. Believe me, I learned from them. I know how they think. I know what they do. There is no bigger evil in this world than what they are. I'd rather go with Al-Qaeda than with these criminals. I'm going to tell you like this. It would be really nice to know. It would be really nice to know how much money did Borut Pahor got, where he's got his accounts, where are those accounts, Switzerland, where are those accounts, where is all that money, where did all this money go, who's got this money? I mean, it's a lot of money, and I bet it was not only for a single $1 billion. I bet there was a whole lot than just $1 billion, this one. Slovenia is extremely dangerous country. Slovenia is Moscow's satellite. This is Kremlin right here. And again, I am appealing to European Union as well as to United Nations to impose sanctions, to exclude one from the Union, exclude one from United Nations, because it's a terrorist regime. This is not only oppressive regime, but this is a terrorist regime. Just look what they try to do to me. They try to create some kind of political schizophrenia stuff, those kind of issues. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that equals to a terrorism. That is a terrorism. That is Al-Qaeda. I'm not in UK. Just gonna take this thing off. See, this is a date and time. I just want you to see this. I just want you to get an idea how bad this thing was. Finally, some way, somehow, is getting skin is getting recuperated. In my entire life, my skin was like this on foot, like this, like this. So this thing here that you see here, right, that you see this thing here, this one have again just formatted itself, the skin here, over about like 3 days ago. But one look at this thing and it looks like it's burned, you know, it's burned. And it always was like this, and so it's totally questionable what again is going to happen. Is it going to actually heal itself, or is just going to grow again into another bubble and then just fall apart? I have never had anything like this in my lifetime. Still hurts, ladies and gentlemen, it still hurts. And this is my other feet here. Much better, but still you can see things here like this. I have never had any of this, okay? I just want you to see how bad this thing was, and still is. Okay, exactly what I have suggested already in the previous videos. As you see, the cursor is dancing back and forth, is going, and as if I lift mouse, it falls down like a stone. See that? You're gonna see in a little bit. It's just gonna fall down, like a stone. Going back and forth, back and forth. I think the point here is that I would suggest on the Ultra that this is remotely operated. That when this is the case, that already somebody has a control over your computer and all kinds of stuff like this. Most likely paranoia. However, what is not paranoia, and not even this might be a paranoia. I have no clue. I have no clue what they have done with this computer. What is not paranoia is that this computer gets up every evening, every night, every evening, remotely. Somehow this computer turned itself on, and regardless of programs, even if I would not have any software installed on the computer, even if I would not have any kind of programs that could use maintenance, like I'm not even using right now. I am using security program software. Before I did not, and it was the same thing. It was just open itself sometime, like start itself at, I don't know, after midnight, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, half 1 o'clock, stuff like that. Crap, I mean, where is that coming from, by the way?